Welcome to the Malliard Report, the fastest hour in paranormal talk radio. Aired live, where the host and guests exchange thoughts and opinions with interaction from the duck pond. And now your host, Jim Malliard.
I want to welcome everybody to the Malliard Report, the fastest hour in paranormal talk radio. Just talked a little shop with these boys, and now I'm scared. They're threatening to not talk and make me do all the talking tonight. So, well, it could be worse. I've got Darren and Darren and the other host of Grimerica, because I didn't write it down. That's always special. Don't worry, because I was focused on the show. So tell me your name.
Name's Graham.
That's okay. It's Graham.
Tell me your name, because I feel like an idiot now.
Don't worry about it. It's. I'll tell you how to pronounce it too, because my co-host across from me can't pronounce it properly, and neither can half the world. But it's Graham.
Like Graham Cracker?
As in Graham Wafer, yeah.
Yeah. So how are you? So how are you doing now that I totally embarrassed myself?
Hey, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Thanks for having us on the show.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. I mean, you guys have racked up, what is it? It's over 200 now, these bad boys. So you've been around the...
Yeah, 250 probably. And
been around the block long enough to know better?
Yep.
241 technically. But
well, no, we've got a bunch of extra
there's
episodes
a bunch
as well,
that aren't numbered, yeah.
So what made you guys want to get in? What made you guys want to do a show?
You know what? It's really about having interesting conversations with people, I think, and then just learning from them. I mean, I've been listening to podcasts for 11 years, probably 10 or 11 years, and I was sort of addicted to them. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, you should do a podcast one day." And then I met Darren, and we went to a couple conferences, and I sort of hooked him up on podcasts. And then we thought, we could do this, because you listen to podcasts and you wonder. You wish you would have asked, the guy would have asked the guest this or that. And I mean, I'm interested in so many different things. I just wanted to be able to talk to people about their research. And it's really given us this avenue and this platform to learn and to reach out to people and sort of build a community around, having sort of open-minded discussions.
Yeah, it was kind of got me going, because I was listening to a bunch of these shows, and it seemed so, how do I say this, so scripted, like, so, tell me about you talked about your last investigation, so let's talk about your next investigation. Kind of bullshit you just kind of ran through, especially back 6-7 years ago. It just seemed to be rampant. Like, you didn't have to listen to the guest again after you heard them, because that's all they were going to talk about, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't sort of this free-flow conversation, this honest conversation. And I remember listening to some podcasts, and the guest couldn't even get to the point before getting interrupted over and over again. And I was just like, what is going on here? They're purposefully almost not letting him finish his point. It was really weird. And so I didn't, definitely wanted to be more of a listener than trying to get our point across. And I think what resonates with people now, with all these other big name podcasts as well, is just these, honest conversations that aren't scripted, like you said. And now after getting a taste of this, man, the media, the mainstream media and the TV, it all just seems so fake.
You notice that? It just seems, I know, it seems to me like, or it's so contrived and controlled and cut and pasted and all this other crap, because every 8.5 minutes, you got to squeeze 4 minutes of commercials in. And it's just like, man, if the guy has a 10-minute answer, the guy has a 10-minute answer.
But, yeah.
Sometimes the guy has a 3-hour answer, and you're like, what the fuck? Oh, I don't even know if I can swear.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Probably
you can.
Not.
Actually,
Okay.
You can. And my chat room has a drinking game, so if they probably should encourage them to switch to Kool-Aid now that I told you can swear.
Yeah, I tend to get a little carried away
Yeah,
sometimes.
I try and reel him back, but every once in a while. My mom wouldn't even listen to the show for a while because she's like, I just can't handle Darren swearing. And I'm like, Mom, you swear yourself. And he's like, but he's on the air. And I'm like, Mom, we're not on the air. It's a podcast. People don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, that's the great thing. People don't have to listen to it. I think people enjoy the honesty of it. Because, I mean, let's be real. most people have sworn in their life, right?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it was still, I mean, I still think of it as just our little pet project, you know? I mean, just because there's a whole shitload of people that decided to come along for the ride. I mean, if anything, it you know, it definitely makes you feel a little bit of responsibility, and you start putting out a little bit, taking it a little more seriously once you got the listeners. But at the end of the day, we still, you know, we reserve the right to do whatever we want. And we don't, that's why, I mean, that's one of the big reasons we don't do advertisers. We just do whatever we want. We could cuss, we could eat mushrooms, we can, you know, do 3 hours or half an hour, or just do whatever we want.
Sorry, I'm just, now I've got Mario running through my head. Eating mushrooms, changing, never mind. So, did either of you like have what got you into the paranormal? Because you said you were listening to the podcast and going to conventions and events beforehand. So there had to have been something before the show.
For me, it was Ancient Aliens. The first season of Ancient Aliens got me to want to go to the Ancient Aliens conference, Paradigm Symposium, which eventually probably led to the podcast at the end of the day. Because we had the website going probably within a month and a half of getting back from Paradigm Symposium.
The first one? Because wasn't there two or three of those?
The very first one, yeah, before everything got all shady.
I officially have no comment on that, by the way.
Yeah, neither do we anymore.
It is what it is, though. That's how these things kind of go. But
yeah,
at least
it was great to meet Von Daniken and all those guys, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first one. The first one it sounded really great. So you met Eric Von Daniken. Is that the light bulb moment where after you talking to these people, you figure if I could talk to them in person, I can talk to them and pick their brain a little bit more when they're not being swarmed like bees?
I think it definitely helped build the confidence in thinking it was a possibility, because we met, you know, Micah and his guys there. Shit, I should know these names. Micah and Chris Hayes and Matt Oakley, Ben Grundy and Aaron Wright and all those guys, Caleb Hanks, those guys were all there. So we met them, and it kind of, you know, they were just regular dudes. So all of a sudden, and then we met all the speakers too, and, you know, they were all real accessible. So we, you know, just definitely, I mean, I think it probably would have happened anyway, but going there just made it all seem so much more reachable.
So was it the TV show, or were your interest in Ancient Aliens before that?
No, it was a TV show. I just like stumbled upon that shit. I was stoned one day, and I was hooked. I mean, it's definitely gone off the rails once it got to about season 3, but like the first season or two was pretty compelling. I mean, if nothing else, it spawned the Grimerica show in some weird sort of way.
So, yeah, and I think it is changing people's outlook on stuff. I think it has opened up our culture quite a bit to the amount of evidence of something more advanced out there, like whether it's ETs or not. I was just thinking recently about how my view has changed, and just recently I've been thinking quite a bit about how before the Ice Age, it's so much easier for me to picture like really advanced human civilizations before the Ice Age.
That's what I think. That's what I think. I ended up on the Ancient Aliens things. It was more likely, at the end of the day, more of that evidence points to that more than aliens.
Yeah.
But hey, I got to smoke a joint with sucralose. I don't think I even talked about that before.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say anything about that.
Well, could you at least get him to return a damn email? I mean, come on.
No, he does. That's why I talk about it now, because he was following me on Twitter and everything, and we were gonna like stay in things, and then I started to get him to come on the show, and just like boom, he just unfollowed me and fucking never heard from him again.
Just ridiculous.
He was all right. You know, he was like pretty eccentric.
He seems to be. I mean,
same with Eric Von Daniken, was pretty eccentric. But Ramon, his little like sidekick guy, is just the coolest guy ever.
His assistant, yeah.
Yeah.
Von Daniken had this personal assistant. It's pretty funny.
Wish I had a personal assistant.
Oh, it was great. Ramon was just great.
And I'm thinking about growing my hair out too. But my wife would probably kill me if I grew it out like that, like Giorgio.
Darren's personal assistant is Siri now.
That's right.
Why don't you do that little trick there?
What trick would I do?
Just you asked your new iOS to say hi to me today.
Hey Siri, what time is it in London, England?
The time in London, England is 2:11.
Well, why'd you do that?
I don't know, because you asked me to. I don't know.
I thought it was the say hi thing. Like you said, say hi to Graham, and then
text you.
he said hi, and then he texted me at the same time.
Yeah.
But he said hi. You said say hi to Graham, and he says, "Hello, Graham Dunlop," or whatever.
Yeah.
So how did he know my last name? What if you have more than
Because
one
your
Graham?
contact on my phone.
What if you have multiple Grahams?
Then I'd be fucked. 1 gram is enough.
Speaking of the iOS, either of you getting a new iPhone X?
Not looking good. I might get an iPhone 8 though.
What's the difference?
I'm not down with the face recognition shit. I mean, my phone's probably doing it anyway, but I don't want it doing like a 3D scan of my face.
What's the difference between 8 and X? Is that the difference?
Yeah, there's no home button on the X. Button. Button. Jesus Christ. So you just have to look at it.
And then there's who you are.
Yeah, sock you in the face and then got you, bitch.
My phone, I'd probably never be able to get back at my phone, knowing my luck. Be like, they'll recognize you. Who are you? No, but what's up with this number 9 conspiracy? Because there's no iPhone 9, no Windows 9, no... Anybody?
Ooh. You know, I've always said that 9's a fucking...
sacred number.
If you could figure out 9, you could figure it out, man.
There you go, you're onto something.
Yeah, 9's a number. If you can figure out 9, you can figure out UFOs and the nature of the universe.
Well, remember when we were looking at that sacred geometry, all those numbers add up to 9. When you look at Randall's work and some of those other works, like 9,
yeah.
Much of that came
and then
to
you
9.
can divide that down to 3 by 3, but it seems like it's more like 9. I mean, there was no iPhone 3 either, was there? But there was a 3DS.
Yeah, there was,
yeah. The first one was a 3, which seemed weird.
Yeah.
If you're going to number them, you'd think you'd go pneumatic or you start with 1, but yeah. What do I know? I'm just.
I got the new iOS today. I'm playing with that.
I'm scared. I haven't even updated mine yet, but probably before I go to bed, I'll push the button and hope my phone wakes me up in the morning.
I get scared. I wait till it tricks me. I hit ignore so many times. Eventually, I slip up, and I'm like, ah.
I tend to ignore the other ones, but it's when it's a new one, like a whole new one. I gotta get that shit.
Yeah.
Because I can't get a new phone, but I could get a new iOS. What's that fucking... That iPhone 8 is like fucking $1,500 Canadian or $1,300 Canadian or something. That's like 2 months' salary.
Yeah.
The podcast. And we could get one phone to share.
So I did a Periscope before this because I was, a little bored, killing time before the show, and I asked the question, "What keeps you awake at night?" So, what keeps you guys awake at night?
Nothing.
Well, that's not a good answer.
I sleep pretty good.
Sometimes Netflix or YouTube.
Documentaries, or are you watching? What are you watching?
Documentaries usually, yeah.
9/11 Truth?
I got a couple guilty pleasures, like Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Arrested Development.
Somebody just told me I should watch that. I've been watching The Office lately.
Oh, The Office, too. I've seen them so many times, though it's hard to keep watching those. Yeah. I mean, the other night I didn't sleep real good because I had to beat a muskrat to death in the middle of the night. That was a little fucked up. I kind of left a weird fucking buzz in me that I didn't really sleep real good.
So a muskrat broke into his basement bathroom.
And it was bleeding, yeah. And I was trying to, like...
Was it bleeding when it broke in?
Yeah, I think my cat or something was chasing it and I bit its tail.
Oh, wow. That's what...
So my wife, I don't think we even talked about this on the show. So my wife, opens the door of the basement bathroom at, 12:31 in the morning. I'm in bed, sleeping. And I just fucking screams bloody murder. I thought someone was breaking in the house or who knows. Jesus Christ, I spilled my bomb.
Okay.
So anyway. So anyway, I go running downstairs and this fucking bathroom's like covered in blood. And there's this huge fucking rat-looking thing with a tail like 1.5 feet long there. So I went and got a Tupperware container and my bat, and I was trying to like wrestle it in there, but then it got all fucking snaky. I had to put it down.
Put it down with your bat?
Yeah.
How many times did you have to hit it?
2 shots.
2 shots, that's it?
Yeah, blunt force trauma, motherfucker.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh, yeah, it was rough.
Did you put it on the grill after?
No. I took it across the street, threw it in the ditch.
Did you?
Yeah. I got a picture of it. You want to see it?
No, it's okay.
It's fucking vicious, little fucker. He looked all cute at first, but he was like, ah!
Wow.
My wife's still having fucking nightmares about that shit. It was fucked up.
I would imagine. I'm gonna have a nightmare about it tonight myself. Matter of fact.
I could see your picture, change your life.
Yeah, probably would, and I probably wouldn't sleep then if I seen a picture.
So I couldn't imagine seeing like a fucking chupacabra or something like that, man.
Yeah, but the question in my mind was, are you going to beat Bigfoot with a bat?
He would.
I would have to try, right? I have to assume Bigfoot's out to get me.
No, you don't. Point. Come on. I've
got a reputation that precedes me.
Bigfoot's all about peace, man.
Well, then I could take him. Either Bigfoot can take me and I need to defend myself and I'm probably fucked, or he can't and then I can take him. If he's passive, I can get him.
Well, the question is, why hasn't somebody taken him already?
Because you can't, man. That's why you don't bother. Because they slip into other dimensions and shit.
Or because he doesn't exist. It's always that. No one wants to talk about that.
Well, here's the unpopular answer. No.
I'm of the belief that there's so much anecdotal evidence that you can't just ignore it all. It's part of our lore for a reason, is because there's too many reputable people that have seen something and it's not a bear. It's not easily explainable.
There's an awful lot of anecdotal evidence that the Earth is flat.
That's different. It's totally different.
Okay.
Yikes! We're not going to the flat Earth because we're just not going there.
From that.
So what?
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, go ahead, hit me. I'll save that question.
I was gonna say, like, part of the reason I got interested in this way back when, I mean, it's been decades now, but I had a pretty profound UFO sighting in Israel in 1990.
3 decades.
And so, I mean, that kind of, it just changes your view on reality. When you see something that's completely unexplainable, regardless of what the answer is, everything's different after that.
Yeah.
So,
I've never seen a UFO, but I've seen some weird ghostly stuff that just can't be no matter what. It's there. It's etched. It's etched.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, question pops up in my chat room here. What about local cryptids from Canada? Are there any Canada exclusives that we should know about down here in the lower?
Ogopogo. That's like a sea
like
monster.
like a champ, a champ or a Loch Ness. Yeah.
Yeah. That's in the Lake Okanagan. That's a little ways from here, but that's like 6-7 hours from the igloo.
Oh, and there's a huge Sasquatch in the West Coast is famous for Sasquatch as well.
I got a Sasquatch ticket.
Yeah.
I'm good for 2017, 2018. I didn't take one down. Garrett gave it to me. Thanks, Garrett.
So, but I mean, I don't think there's a lot of other ones locally here in Alberta. I don't think.
There's not much there in Alberta, by the way.
No, not really. There's
maybe some Thunderbirds and shit. No,
I don't know. I don't think so.
What's that? Hey Siri, are there any cryptids in Alberta?
I couldn't find any matching restaurants.
But these people want to believe that artificial intelligence is right around the corner.
So there's cryptid restaurants now.
There's that restaurant in Banff that you can eat like grizzly bear and fucking alligator and shit. Does that count?
No.
What if it had Bigfoot?
I wouldn't eat it.
We'll find it. So what's going on down there on the South Pole in Antarctica?
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
think that's fucking. They're gonna find some some shit down there. I think there's gonna be pyramids, or they found something, or they're gonna find something. It's either like those tunnels, the heated lava tunnels with some shit going on, or they found something, some old culture shit like Egypt or something, you know, some ruins.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite topics, with Admiral Byrd going down in the in the early 1900s, and all the attention it's got, and then the rumors about Germany going there, and oh man, I read this great fiction book. Actually, we tried to get the author on, and he wouldn't come on. He's like, I think he's done with that topic. But he wrote this Project Saucer series, and it was all about like a genius dude making flying saucers and escaping to Antarctica. Just fascinating. So he's kind of like a transhumanist saucer pilot creating his own kind of like fleet of saucers up in Antarctica. Just fascinating. But it's based on a lot of...
One of these days, we're going to do the Kickstarter to send Graham across Antarctica. It's a 59-day trek, and it's $25,000. But he will single-handedly prove...
Is that how much it is?
...that the Earth is not flat. Yeah.
That's not that much. Get on it, boys.
You'll freeze.
What?
I don't want you to freeze. Can't do the show without you.
I'll just do the Wim Hof method.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see
With my shorts.
We'll see how you do this winter.
What do you think about Antarctica?
Something strange. I'm not sure what, if it's ancient ruins or something. I mean, it just seems kind of... the lore's too much to pass up.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet it used to be temperate. We get smashed with rocks and shit, then we could easily get knocked around.
When was that? When was Antarctica last not full of ice?
I don't know, probably who knows, before the last ice age.
Before the last ice age. So it's only like 20,000 years ago. It's not very
No,
much.
I think it's a lot more than that. I think the last ice age was a long time.
I mean, I think they'll find out that the pyramids in Göbekli Tepe and all these, other things all over the world, are older than the last ice age. Actually, they're already showing that they were
during the last ice age. I think is more likely.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, especially the pyramids and all these different structures around the world that just kind of mirror each other, and you go, well, how'd they do that without asking Siri how to do something cool like that?
Yeah, exactly.
If they asked Siri, they would be all crooked and shit. They'd be
let
alone restaurants.
And let alone the other part of, every time you go in Home Depot, you know how much all those tools cost to do all that stuff. I mean, come on. Serious manpower went in all that. Something out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Monks humming to a certain frequency. That's all you need.
Monks humming?
Yeah.
There's a joke there.
That could be a good podcast name, eh? Monks humming?
Could be. Somebody out there right now is probably going to rip you off, so you better run out and create that as soon as the show's over.
No, they can have it.
Hey, you know what? You two might fight someday, and you might wish you had a good podcast name lying around.
Yeah, that's true. We might need to break up.
If we cut Graham loose, then he'll start Grimerica, and at least you take some of the branding and some of the audience, and it'll be like a messy divorce.
Who gets the kids then?
I feel bad for the kids. They're going to get torn apart.
The igloo is the big
I feel bad
one.
because it's definitely like an uneven split. Team Graham is outnumbers Team Darren 2-1 at least.
But you've got the igloo.
But I guarantee in my group, but I have the igloo on my property. And I feel like my group they're hardy. They're good for a gram or two each. In more ways than one.
Pardon the pun. Yeah, that's good.
So now that you guys been around us for a while, what one conspiracy theory has become more cemented in your mind and not so much theory anymore, become kind of just an accepted fact in your life?
Weather modification?
Weather modification. Oh, so like you're tell me these hurricanes are kind of a master plan? Well,
that's the extreme, I guess, more of the extreme point of it. I mean, I just, it's levels of awakening, right? So, I mean, now I just realized, and I just played a couple clips on our last intro there of just, regular news stories talking about cloud seeding and weather modification. So it's becoming very mainstream that this is going on. So I'm not talking necessarily about creating hurricanes and storms, although, part of me would think that's possible. But I mean, just even the normal, increased snowpack and rain suppression or increasing rainfall. I mean, they're doing it all over the world. So that's, for me, after looking into that over the last couple of years, it's really important to me that's, that it's talked about a little bit more, that it's acknowledged, especially when we're getting, bamboozled into being globally controlled because of global warming.
So are we talking about HARP and chemtrails as well, all rolled in here?
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I mean,
Graham is an all-in believer in chemtrails.
Oh, thanks.
I thought I pushed something.
Yeah, so it's part of it, I guess. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go very far and there's a ton of evidence of this stuff going on, right in front of us. So, I mean, then you can go really far from that. I mean, why are they spraying chemicals in the air? Why are they controlling the weather and not taking it into account with global warming? All that kind of stuff. They've been doing it for decades, man. Since you read that if anybody's interested, you read that 1978 Senate report on weather modification that talks about it going back decades, and it's like 800 pages long, and that's back in the 70s. So lots of shit's going on. But I don't like to think that it's just about them dumbing us down or spraying us or more gallons. I mean, that's getting pretty out there. But I mean, one day I'll be looking at that a little closer probably. But right now, it's just there's too much low-hanging fruit on what they are doing to the weather.
That's just scary.
I think my big one's 9/11.
Yeah, and that's Darren's big one.
I think 9/11.
Which one particular point gets you going?
Well, none of them really. I mean, all of them, I guess. I don't care. I'm okay with. I mean, some of Judy Wood's stuff is pretty good, but I mean, I'm on board with controlled demolition. I can get on board with that too. I can get on board with pretty much anything but the official story. I like Joseph Farrell's work, where he kind of looks at the multiple layers, where certain people only knew about certain aspects of it. Maybe some people knew planes were going to hit the towers, and other people knew the fucking towers were going to fall down, and other people knew maybe more or less, or
yeah, kind of like the Manhattan Project,
something like that. Yeah. And the other big one I go off on is, of course, vaccines, but I don't think that's a conspiracy so much as just a big mess.
No, yeah, you could that falls in the category. I mean, that's a big one. 9/11 and vaccines are two of the biggest ones. I mean, and actually global warming and weather mod. I mean, I guess that covers that as well.
Especially for us people
Unless the world
living in the moment.
To indeed be flat, then we were all fucking bamboozled.
What do you mean by living in the moment?
Well, because you could go into the Kennedy conspiracy, or D.B. Cooper, or any of these other things.
I see what you mean. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. These are all current. I never even thought about that.
Because
I guess that just shows you hopefully the internet can immortalize them in some way to get some sort of closure on something, or these will be gone the way that nobody even mentions them in another generation when my kids take over the show.
That's a scary thought. Just for the record, I had to throw that out there. That's a scary thought about our kids taking over our shows. Everybody run for the exits now and never come back. What do you think about time travelers? There we go. Harry's thrown that up there in the chat room. We'll just go with that one.
I don't know.
Possible?
It's possible, I think.
I think it's all happening at once, man. There's no such thing as time.
Yeah, that's good. You say it and you're like, sultry, like acid sort of trip voice.
It's all happening at once. We're all one.
Yeah, I'm more inclined to think that. Everything's happening all at once.
We're just energy reduced to a slow vibration.
Time is just a construct of our physical manifestation.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're going for the Mandela effect too, then.
Or you can do it, and that's what UFOs are.
Ooh.
Well, if everything's happening at once, then the Mandela effect is completely plausible. You just need to hit some sort of tipping point. Unfortunately, that'd be the same with the flat Earth. eventually we get to a point where enough fucking dummies believe the Earth is flat that the Earth becomes flat.
You're manifesting the flat Earth. There's so many people believing in the conspiracy that when everybody looks, it actually is flat now. That's a good one. I like that.
So we need to come up with our own then.
Yeah. Well, one of our guests talked about time as a particle, like a quanta of time. And it's part of the equation, like time, space, matter, and energy are all part of an interchanging equation. And that's pretty interesting.
Is that Craig?
Yeah.
Flowers?
Yeah.
You should have him on.
Yeah, it sounds interesting now that you're talking about it. I mean, that's kind of... I like good stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially the question pops up, Corey Good's Inner Earth. What about that? Which I believe there's something going on below us that we may or may not know about.
Well, I think that there probably is a hollow Earth, but I don't think there's anything there. I think there's a hollow Earth, and that's because the Earth is growing, and pair production is constantly happening, and matter is being produced at the center of the Earth, which is creating a void. And I think gravity kind of naturally would create a void because, I don't know, maybe something as big as the Earth, the center of mass can kind of be pulled towards the outside a little bit, maybe.
So if we keep growing, is there that point where we just explode then?
And then we turn into a sun eventually.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't sound too like a good idea, being on the sun.
So like the growing Earth is like Jupiter is turning into a gas, turning into a sun, and then everything's perpetually
I think it takes
growing.
a while.
Yeah.
I think the Earth has been growing for 65 million years.
Since the dinosaurs? Yeah. Why would you pick that?
Because that's what Neil Adams said.
He said 65 million years? Why would he pick when the dinosaurs...
Because the dinosaurs could only exist because the Earth was whatever percentage smaller, which would reduce the gravity.
Huh. I mean, so what about the inner Earth, Darren? And why can't there... What if when all these disasters were happening, like the Ice Age melting and the floods, and all these people went in the caves and underground, you don't think they went...
You guys lost your pigment
for
being in the caves.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to say that either.
I love the inner Earth too. We haven't really delved into it too deeply, but it really, reminds me of I've been reading some of John Keel's work from back in the 60s and 70s, and some of his philosophies about looking at all this evidence of UFO sightings, and there's so much back then, and really coming to the conclusion that ET's not really the best explanation. It could be a partial explanation, but really it's ultra-terrestrials or maybe even dwellers of inner Earth or the deep oceans. There's all kinds of USOs as well, like something's going on in the inner Earth. I mean, we had that guy
We've already started heading inward too, maybe, It seems like into the Earth. We've got giant fucking underground bases. Maybe it's a natural progression. Eventually you figured out after getting so many close calls by asteroids or whatever that you're like, okay, if civilization wants to be around for any prolonged amount of time, it needs to be underground to a certain degree.
Yeah. Or at least have that capability.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it could even be where there's species underground that we don't know about in the inner Earth that have been around for thousands and thousands, millions of years. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. That's a fascinating one.
Yeah, and here comes another. So, go ahead.
Well, we had this guy on, and he's totally underrated in the UFO book category.
Ooh.
The red orange orbs, right? Do you remember that one?
Oh, Terry.
Yeah, Terry Ray. Terry Ray, and he corroborated. That's the wrong one. He collated all the red orange orb sightings in the U.S. Thousands of them, and he saw patterns of the day, like the times that these orbs were flying around and where they're coming from, and they're basically coming from 3 bases in the ocean. Catalina Island, I think one off Florida and somewhere else. So that's pretty interesting.
So I've got a question in the chat room here with this is just, I'm trying not to laugh because it's so funny. Have you researched deep underground military bases? Which just sounds like something that, they would try to use to hide something kind of cool. Because it's so dumb to talk about.
What?
Yeah, a little bit.
Military bases?
Yeah, a little bit.
Deep underground? So
we haven't delved deep into that, but
there's that joke.
Something we've talked about.
We've been meaning to have Redfern on again to talk about that.
Yeah, he'd be a good one to talk about that stuff.
And Peter Levenda talks about it quite a bit as well, I think. And there's a guy that really did a lot of work on underground bases across America, and I think he disappeared or he's in South America or something.
Military prison?
Yeah.
Deep underground at one of these bases right now.
Exactly.
Getting one of these personalized tours that may never end. The next question, this is just fascinating because I've seen that Mexico City had a major earthquake this afternoon, so this is probably where this is all starting from. The earthquakes and hurricanes and all this disasters coming together, which, I mean, if we were talking about weather control, does that earthquakes fall under that, or are we just putting pieces together?
The world's just fucking ended on Saturday.
The deep state is battling.
I think it's just a rapture. I was reading something on Google that said the world ends on September 23rd.
So sell all your possessions and mail me the check?
Donate to the show so you can go with a clear conscience.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go...
America.ca/support.
I was going to say, if you're going to go, you might as well support something you love, right?
I think we'll be fine.
Well, I mean, we survived Y2K and the Mayan calendar and a couple other people's predictions, so I think we might be okay. But just in case, you might want to sell everything.
Did you know if it turned out to be December 21st, 2017, they would have only been off by 0.05%?
Only. I mean, just a touch.
Who's they, the Mayans? Or
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe it's this December 21st.
Maybe somebody got lazy and said, doesn't really matter.
They forgot to carry something, or they didn't...
Like I said, the chisel broke. The chisel broke. Yeah, it's far enough ahead. It's okay.
Yeah, they're not typing this shit out. You know, I mean, there's not like backspace. Like,
I don't think people know what you mean by carrying stuff, don't they? Does Common Core carry? Do you carry with Common Core these days?
I don't think the Mayans had Common Core, bro.
Probably not. That's why we survived this long, because we didn't have Common Core math.
They could count to at least 5,000. So.
Common Core driving everybody to calculators coming soon. I mean, for real. That's all that's trying to do, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, maybe they have all those leap days and stuff, too. Or maybe they had extra leap days. I don't know. Leap days confuse me.
Leap years?
But the great year is fascinating. I mean, the Mayan calendar is fascinating how it's the 26,000, is it? 26,000?
25,920.
Yeah.
There's a leap year every 4 years, except if it's 2 zeros, unless it's 3 zeros.
Really?
Yeah.
Something we just learned something, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah. Strangest guest, caller, whatever on your show. Let's get into your show for a little bit here.
Strangest?
Yeah, strangest.
Lancaster.
And what makes him so strange? If we want to get into that.
An amalgamation of qualities.
So you don't want to get into that? Okay.
I don't want to get into it.
I get it.
I mean, I'm sure Glenn's a great guy.
No, that was good. It was good. I thought it was okay. It's just strange, you know.
And sometimes that's what we talk about, the strange stuff, though. So come on, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know this is
Rambo.
Here's another one. Here's one of my favorites.
Favorites?
Yeah, it's that we've talked to a lot of older fellows, and this guy that we talked to, and he was a guest recommendation. And his name was it David Winter or David
Dan Winter?
Dan Davidson. Dan Davidson.
I think you're.
I always get this mixed up because we did a couple Davids at the same time. Close to it. Anyways, he I can figure it out, but he wrote this paper and he talks about energy in a shape. Like if you make a cone shape, it changes the energy inside that shape. So the ether, the 0 point field or whatever is different inside a shape. And he came up with this movement, to this series of movements, almost like Tai Chi, right, which is supposed to create this stuff. And he's had near-death experiences, and he's had messages from entities and near-death experiences. Like, really fascinating guy. And he's done a whole paper on it. And, you know, I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, you know, how scientifically valid it is, but just to explore this topic with the guy. And it
Shape Power?
Shape Power, yeah.
Dan Davidson.
So I've been thinking about, actually I want to practice some of these intentional movements just to see how they are, but it was right after I watched the show on Netflix, OA. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, fuck, it's a fascinating show. And it's like based on this dude's work, and I was like, man, your work sounds like exactly what we just watched on Netflix. And he tells me, well, these guys from Hollywood did come by. And so the gist of it was they came by, they stole his work, and never got back to him. And made this great Netflix series out of his decades of research. Like these guys, some of these guys you end up having on the show that nobody's heard of them before, but they've either had, you know, NDEs or downloads, or they've had these opportunities to do all the scientific research. It's just fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, I had a guest on talking about the intent in hand gestures, and so it's not totally that strange of concept, but it is totally that strange of concept. So, but this was not. Yeah. This was just with the hands and power transferring energy, and I tried it and it kind of worked. So I don't want to put it too far. So
I was at a Reiki.
Definitely something to like those little fucking rods, right?
Oh, dowsing rods, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was at a Reiki share the other night, and we were doing a bunch of Reiki and sound healing and all this. And I mean, our hands get so hot doing that. It is. You're generating heat. I mean, the monks did it in the ice. I mean, you know, Wim Hof does it with his breath. I mean, there's definitely a way we can generate energy. So I think that stuff is super legit.
So, well, we're kind of at this crossroads. I wrote it down earlier from my chat room. What about reincarnation? Are we on board or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. There's another one of these things where there's enough.
I'm a Pisces, so I'm almost done. But
there's enough evidence to make you really question it.
Yeah, there's something.
Just another one that's science. Science is another one. Just science is going to ignore until mainstream science, that is going to ignore until it's just the tipping point happens and more people accept it based on personal experiences or whatever than not.
Well, I think mainstream science is going to ignore a lot of this because they just want to ignore us.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, there's that guy with that goofy T-shirt on outside wearing a tinfoil hat again. I mean, seriously, sometimes we've got to get better at analyzing and presenting evidence and just not saying we know everything, but hey, we've gathered this stuff and say, take a look at it because it's not making sense to us. But that's a whole nother show and a whole nother rant for another time.
Yeah.
As I scroll through this list of trying to keep track of everything. What about humans and this connection with AI and all this other stuff? You were kind of joking about Siri, though, but is there a point in no return of all that stuff? Like, where they get smarter than us? And start killing us?
Maybe, but I don't think it's coming anytime soon. Not in our lifetime. I think my phone's a perfect example of that.
I think it's here in the black world already, but we're just too unaware to know it. Quantum computing is probably, the black world's 30 years ahead of us, 40 years ahead of us, they say. So why do you
Siri,
think
how much should I tip on a $27 restaurant bill?
Okay, I found something on the web for how much should I tip on a $27 restaurant bill. Take a look.
Hey Siri, throw on the Grimerica Show podcast.
I don't see any podcasts matching grass. Hey Siri.
You're telling me to throw stuff on. Like, you got to speak English first.
I don't think we're close, man.
You don't think we're close?
I think there's way more going on. Every time they think they figured out the smallest shit, they just find more small stuff.
That's in this world.
In this world?
These high-tech labs they've had thousands of scientists working at Bell Labs.
I'm talking on a physics level or a quantum level. Every time we think we got the smallest building block of
You keep going
of the
down,
fucking
down,
universe, it's smaller and smaller. Oh, no, now there's these. I think that's the
down.
same way with the shit in your brain.
Gluons or whatever.
Yeah.
Muons.
After your fucking neurons, there's going to be something else and something else and something else.
Why can't you connect to the machine then at that point? There's got to be a point when you can connect to a machine.
Yeah. And the machine runs you over in the parking lot.
Interesting.
I think you'll get some. I think you'll get some cool like video game type augmented reality sort of stuff. But I mean, there's like a 50-50 chance we're living in some sort of grand simulation right now.
Or to connect to the computer.
Yeah.
Very important question. I'll ask the other question next, but I'll ask this very important question first. Why is your Siri a dude?
I'm not going to answer that. But it wasn't working so good before.
I think no matter what answer, it's bad.
Yeah. It wasn't working so good, so I changed it up.
It sounds smarter.
So I went with the British guy because he seems a little more obedient, less of a freewheeler.
There's a growing secession movement up there in Western Canada, especially Alberta. Are you fans, not fans, indifferent to succeeding from Canada?
Changes daily. Goes back and forth. No, I don't think it's not close to being big enough. But I'd consider it.
You think it'll work?
My wife would kill me.
We're going to succeed to Grimerica.
Yeah, if anything, I'll succeed to Grimerica or move to Oregon.
Well, there's different. I mean, there's been rumors that Texas wants to succeed for years, or California. So, I mean, this is not necessarily a new topic for any of us, but
Yeah,
it really does feel like that's the answer, though.
It just seems like too big of land masses and stuff, and too big of geographics to demographics.
I feel like it's too polarized.
Whatever else to keep them all in the same.
I feel like that more than ever now, there's two camps, right? There's the freedom camp and the globalist camp.
Right.
In a way, don't you think?
Right.
More so than there ever was.
Right.
So
that's becoming the main thing. Is like, do we want global open borders or do we want national freedom? That seems to be, and I mean that's all a distraction anyway. So I'm trying not to buy into that, but I feel like that's going to be the answer. Is countries will happen that I don't know, that'll separate or become more part of the global thing.
As the old line goes, divide and conquer.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to ask these guys a question, but everybody in the chat room, get ready because the world famous rapid fire is coming up next, where I ask you guys a bunch of either or short little fun questions that will take us right to the top of the end of the show. So
who are you asking, me or Darren?
Both of you. So you guys can each take a crack at them.
Quick.
Yeah, quick. We'll be quick, but the most important question of the night, if they haven't paid attention long enough to know, the name of the show is Grimerica, and where can people find you and listen to your show?
It's Grimerica.
Oh. I'm fired. But I like
Grimerica. That's kind of
that could be your spin-off show.
Yeah, that could be that's our AI spin-off show.
Throw that in the grammar, Darren. Break up the show category.
It's like Gattaca meets Grimerica.
But more importantly, where do people find it? Whatever you call it.
Grimerica.ca. If you have an iPhone, you can just put in Grimerica.ca/iTunes and it'll figure it out.
It's like Grimerica.
It's better if you don't use the podcast app. Get a different app like Overcast or iCatcher or something like that. And then you'll get our custom artwork that our great artist Napoleon Doom puts in every week for us.
The art on your website is what you're talking about is phenomenal, by the way. I'm jealous, but that's here and there.
So yeah, and then we're on Instagram and Twitter and what else?
Facebook.
And
just go to the website. Don't worry about any of these other crappy sites.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube, and you can listen to the podcast on the website too if you're like technologically illiterate.
Oh, that's bad.
Some people out there are. There's no question about that. Okay, so here we go. Before they're blowing up I'm trying to keep track of these things, and they're just floating them out there. Favorite movie?
jeez. Oh, that's just fucking stumped. So it's supposed to be rapid fire. Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, stumped. Easy question. That's an easy one for these.
Favorite movie
Yeah.
of all time?
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption.
The Holy Grail.
Favorite beer?
0. I don't drink.
Okay, that's a good answer. Makes it easy.
I don't really drink either, but if I'm going to drink, I suppose I'll have a kokanee.
Peanut butter or apple? Peanut butter or apple butter?
What the fuck is apple butter?
It's an American thing. It's kind of anyways. We're not even together.
Peanut butter.
I'm going to go with peanut butter. Does it turn all brown like when you leave an apple out?
No, not really. It's got a lot of chemicals in it. So we're just, anyways. Flip flops or boots? You guys are Canadian, so that's not even a fair question.
Flip flops. We call them thongs.
I do enjoy flip flops.
We're going to skip down to this one here. Canadian bacon or American bacon?
Canadian.
American.
Ooh. Favorite G.I. Joe? There's more to one G.I. Joe. Anyways. Apparently.
Sergeant Slaughter.
The one in the bathtub with Eddie Murphy.
What the fuck?
Favorite band?
Well, Pink Floyd came to mind, but it's sort of changed.
2.
When I was a kid, it was Nirvana, but lately it's been Broke for Free.
Broke for Free. I'm going to have to write that down and check that out because I have not heard that before. So
Mine could be the Orb.
It's like all of the Grimerica music, so if people like the Grimerica music, especially in the later episodes, it's almost all.
A boot or about?
A boot.
About.
Who do you want to get on your show? Who would be the perfect, not the perfect guest, but the guest that you probably can't get, but would be your ideal guest?
We just had Jacques Vaillant, who would have been in that category a little while ago. But I'd think of you go ahead, Darren.
Well, I keep trying to get through to guys like Rogan or fucking. I'd like to get Nassim Harriman on, but he seems tough to get on.
You can't. You got to get as one of his what's it called, associates on or whatever.
Yeah,
disciples.
A couple of the bigger names that just I think I've been trying to get Scott Adams on too. Guys that are just hard to get through to. I don't know. I don't think there really is a holy grail guest anymore. I mean, we had a couple when we started out, but we kind of got to talk to them. So I don't know. And then you get these kind of guests out of left field that are great.
I know.
So
that's the stupid part. You
kind of learn to just to give it's just go into every show with the. Who knows?
I keep coming back to Robert Lanza, biocentrism, like his theory of everything. He was one of the most influential scientists, and I think there's some real good mainstream science that doesn't really change the mainstream culture yet, but it's way ahead of its time. So I think someone like that really.
Another question in that vein: free guest, dead or alive, for a dinner party. So you don't have to interview them; you can just hang out.
It was a guest, or
no, it's a dinner guest at your house. You don't have to interview them; you can just sit there and hang out.
Probably Terrence McKenna or John Keel.
Well, I said 3, so you can have them both. That's okay.
I would say Terrence McKenna. Or how about
Stephen Greer?
No, Stephen Greer. How about
And by the way, the Stephen Greer documentary is well done, but
yeah, that was very well done. That's a good one,
especially the crying scene. It's riveting.
I didn't say it was perfect. I said it was well done.
No, we argue about that all the time. I go out and do my own C setting, and Darren makes fun of me. So it's just a constant battle here about that. We had some sightings 3 nights ago.
Team Graham outnumbers Team Darren 3-1.
Those numbers are always going up. You're going to win like Trump in a landslide.
No, his numbers go up. I think Graham's numbers go up.
It all depends on who does the poll, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It could be the fake poll.
Even when I have control, so I'm trying to skew the numbers, and he still seems to come out on top.
Well, just as long as you guys keep the fake news under control from up there, we'll all be good.
Canada is already doomed.
Already?
Yeah.
Why? Should I be concerned?
No.
Well, because our right to free speech is disappearing fast, and we're sending all our money all over the world and to the Clinton Foundation and stuff like that. And we know where that goes after that, so it's not really, I don't know. We're kind of doomed. We're kind of on the leading edge of
doomed.
doom.
We should start a foundation.
We should.
I know, I thought about that.
Let's put it in your name, and we'll just be like on the board.
I think we need somebody in an island somewhere, one of these, or Switzerland or somewhere, so the money doesn't disappear.
Pretty good for Europe. Maybe we could go to like the Caymans, but I don't know. That shit just got wiped out by a what's it called? And then I was thinking maybe California's nice, and Garrett sends me pictures of his temp every day, and it's like Jesus. And then Adam's got these fucking spiders in jars he's showing me that are fucking poisonous. And I'm like, you know what? Freezing solid 3 months here ain't so bad. Maybe kills all that shit. That's scary.
Yeah, there is something to freezing solid though, and snow and the seasons. They're pretty. Makes life fun. Keeps you looking out the window. I'd hate to see palm trees year round, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it sounds terrible.
I know, right? I'm glad you caught the sarcasm in that. But it is what it is. So nobody else has any more rapid fire questions for these boys? Come on now. I can't believe that we got about a minute left here before I throw you off.
How long have you been doing this show?
Let's see, 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It's tonight is 321.
Ooh, that's like a magic number.
It is. One of those strange numbers. Multiples of 3, by the way, there, huh? The 3.
It's 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3, and then the 2 and the 1 make 3, and 3 times 3 is 9.
Back to
This episode doesn't even exist.
Where 3, 2, 1 is 6, and plus 3 numbers is 9.
What the fuck?
somewhere an algebra teacher's really happy about that one. Oh, here we go. NHL or CFL?
CFL.
NHL. Is that like a trick question?
I don't know.
It's supposed to be NFL?
Well, no, it's Canadian Football League. Come on, you guys are from Canada.
Yeah, but NHL is hockey or Canadian football. I'll take hockey.
Okay, so football or hockey? Let's just pull it back to the root form here.
Hockey.
Okay. And I guess I should preference American football.
Football, so I'll go with American football. Canadian football sucks.
No, it's better.
No, it's terrible. Come on, man. You could play at CFL. They would take you.
Poutine or plain French fries?
Poutine.
Poutine.
Never had it, so give me the scoop.
Oh. It's like, so you take these nice crispy home fries, you put a bit of them in, then you layer on some gravy and some cheese curds, some more fries, some more cheese curds, some more gravy, some more fries, some more cheese curds, some more gravy. You let that shit melt. Dig in. Well,
I told you I had a couple minutes left, so I'm going to wrap this up before I just start talking over my outros. So, hey, thank you guys for the hour. It's been fun. Good luck with your show as well. And I'm sure we'll catch you down the road.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, you're welcome. And I unceremoniously hang up on them because I'm running out of time. A lot of fun tonight. I don't even know what else to say. Those of you watching on YouTube, going to step it up the game again next week, hopefully 7.0. I know, 7.0. I'm really keeping track of that. That's about it. For all you podcast listeners, just keep enjoying, because it's going to be good.
Malliard Report. Be a part of the report and help it grow. Share it. Do you enjoy listening to
The Malliard Report, the fastest hour in paranormal talk radio?
Please visit TMR247.com and listen to past or present reports. Subscription is free, or listen on your favorite app.
Well, we're just going to have to sit back and watch, okay? And when I say watch, don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to CNN. Don't listen to the New York Times. Don't listen to the Washington Post. Watch what they do, okay?
The opinions expressed on the Malliard Report are those of the host and participants. All listeners are advised to make their own decisions.